Buddy, thank you so much for coming on. Net sheets are something that are super important for listings, super important for sellers. They always want to know by the end of the day, how much money am I going to bring home? And we at Ohio World Title have a very nice a platform, and it is called Title Capture. So after this, um, if you are not on Title Capture, then let me know, and we can get you on there. Okay? So I'm going to try to share my screen, and when we pull up Title Capture, it should look just like this. Maybe a little bit different because it's coming as an agent, but the platform is pretty simple. All right. So what we're going to do, we're just going to start with just a basic seller net. Okay. So you click on seller net. Does anybody want to give me an address, or do you just want me to throw one out there?
Throw one out there.
I've got one actually.
Oh, okay, bring it on. Go ahead.
66 Maple Springs in Painesville.
Okay, so is that 2 words, 66 Maple Springs?
Yeah, I can't remember if it's Drive. I think it might be Drive.
Okay. So this is actually a good example because it's not pulling up. So is that new development, Alicia?
It's not on the market right now. It is new construction.
Okay, so perfect example. And maybe we'll get to that next because I don't want to get confusing. But 66 Maple Spring. So if there's not anything yet, we can go over this. Then if it's not pulling up, that means it's not an actual address parcel in the system, okay? So if you need that, what you can just do is go to just say Painesville. Okay, and it'll pull up Painesville, Ohio. And what that does is it calculates, and it'll help with the prorations once we get to taxes, okay? So you can name it 66 Maple String when you send it to your client, but it's not pulling up, so it must be super new construction, all right? Doesn't matter, everything's the same anyway. Then you're gonna choose a branch. Again, you have to drop it down. I'm just gonna say Painesville because it's in Painesville. Alicia, what's the sale price?
I'm thinking about putting it on the market for 185.
So 185. Now, close date will automatically populate to 30 days on this site. We're going to go through 2 examples. This first one is just going to be easy. So we don't close on a Saturday, so pull it up and you can close on the 17th, which is a Friday. And now, mind you, we will go through taxes, but as of now, as of June, through the end of June, only the first half of last year are due. Okay, we'll do an example when something closes when the second half are due. But right now, we just keep that in mind, okay? Now, I'll tell you what things that I avoid. And this is what I would highly suggest you avoid when preparing a seller net sheet, okay? It'll save you so much headache. Mortgage payoffs. Unless they are closing tomorrow, and even if they're closing tomorrow, their mortgage is going to change. So I never put it on there unless someone's like, I really need to know. Because what they do with these estimates, they will hold you to it like it's the Bible. And even though you say estimate, I would just highly suggest not doing the mortgage. Okay, guys? So I'm not going to do the mortgage. If you were, you would just put the payoff there. I'm telling you, I'm saving you headaches. Alicia, give me a commission, please.
Total commission or for the seller side?
Just total commission.
Let's say 5%.
Okay. So that's a great question that Alicia had. Unless the seller wants to see how it's broken down between listing and selling agent, I always just put the commission because that's what they're paying. Doesn't really matter how it's broken up. So 5% flat. I believe the transaction fee at your brokerage is what, $250?
$200. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Sandy. Okay. So now the homeowners association dues. This is another thing I will highly suggest, unless it is mandatory that they are asking you, ignore. Because third parties, about 99% of the time, third parties manage homeowners associations. So they have extra fees. If they really want you to put one in there, we will. But for this sake, I really wouldn't. Again, it avoids a lot of confusion at the end. Property taxes. Okay, so Alicia, you may have thrown me a curveball on this one because there may not be any taxes to calculate, but let's take a look. So I'm going to go to Lake County. So anytime you're looking up taxes, you go to the auditor site, not the recorder. All right, so for Lake County, we're going to go to a property search. And then we're gonna go 66 Maple. Ooh. It's so hard to type when you know people are watching you. Okay, good. It actually did pop up, so that's great. So you're gonna click on their parcel, and then for Lake County, let's go on down to tax summary. Takes a minute to populate. This is where always there's sources of questions always on taxes. So we are going to concentrate a little bit on it. So if you look at the top here, it's going to tell you that the current taxes for the entire year are $2,402.66. For the sake of net sheets, it's always broken down in 6-month increments. So when you are looking at the first half of $1,201.33, that is for January to June of 2021. That was paid in January of 2022. Second half, same amount, is due in July of 2022 for July through the end of 2021. Okay? So let's take that 1201.33 and put it in here for your taxes. 1201.33, 1201.33. Now, right here, this drop-down box is really critical. If you do not choose anything, then it's going to look like they owe more taxes than they do. So in this particular instance, since it's still closing in June, we're not working about the second half of the year. We're going to say first half has been paid, okay? Any questions so far?
How do you know that the taxes have been paid? Sorry.
Great question. Okay, so let's go back to the Lake County. So Lake County seems to be pretty easy, which is really nice. If you look up here, taxes owed, full year owed is $2,402.66. There's already been a payment of $1,201.33. So if you look, first half owed, zero balance because it was already paid. And then second half owed is $1,201.33. And then the next example, we'll do Cuyahoga County so you can see what that looks like too, okay?
Janelle, and that you're pointing out to us, and I'm having trouble with the screen and keep moving it around because it's very small. I have to blow it up. Okay. Those taxes you're talking about are for 2021.
1,000%, yes.
Okay, that's where people get confused, and I've known that. We all know that, but I think that Ohio is the only one that does it. I've sold property that people live in Florida. They think that we're all fucked up here, you know? I'm like, hey, that's the way we do it, you know? I'm sorry, you know, but they do. They don't understand it. And I try to tell them, I'm sorry, but that's the way we do it here. But not no other state seems to do it except for, you know, us.
Right. And they do. Everybody does it differently. And then even then, like a CAUV in there with like Geauga County, like agricultural stuff. Then you throw like assessments in there, and then you throw in like credits. Yeah, taxes are a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
One, Alicia, this is a very easy, simple, thank God example, but Sandy, we're going to try to get one a little harder, but I think you are right. Yeah, there are a lot of different, and that's because taxes are not certified until like February of the following year. Okay. All right. So Alicia, does that clear up here where you can see what was paid?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. Next, the next thing you're going to get to are other seller expenses and credits. This is where you put home warranties. This is where you put seller concessions. Okay, so Alicia, are we doing any home warranty or anything, or you just whatever?
I doubt it.
Okay, fine. All right, so there's really nothing else to it. So we're going to calculate and see what they would net on 185,000 sale. They would net $170,727.15. Okay. So what this gives you a breakdown of all the title fees. You know, if you guys have any questions, I'll just kind of run down these quickly, unless you already know what everything is.
You know, maybe just run down it quickly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure Alicia would probably like to know. She's a newer agent, but yeah, I think just kind of refreshing everybody would be great.
Perfect. Okay. Yes. So this closing fee is basically the cost of recording it and basically doing all the like escrow, just like basically our services, okay, portion of our service. The owner's title insurance in Northeast Ohio, it is split 50-50 between seller and buyer. It is based off the sale price. Title insurance is what Ohio Real Title provides, and that is basically, it's a one-time premium, and it covers the entire history of the property, so that if anything comes up after title transfers, it's covered. Like, liens, encroachments, any of that kind of stuff. Title exam. Title exam is always charged to the seller, and what that does, that is the exam that looks after 42 years of history and pulls up everything, okay? So that's the charge of that. The overnight courier fees. We have so many different vendors and, like from here to here to here to the recording and stuff like that. So we only charge $35 when we're probably eating some. The title commitment binder fee, that is split between buyer and seller, and that is just basically where all your commitment and policy comes into play, and that what you'll have. Deed prep, it is prepping from seller to buyer, so that's the cost of that. Oh, we automatically hold water and sewer $200, okay guys? If you do not have water and sewer, then you would credit that at the expense and credit on the bottom. And you know what, we'll do that on the next example, okay? Because some people, like in Geauga County, if they have well water, they don't have that. A title update fee, that is just going towards updating the title with the city, and then wire processing, that's typically for wiring proceeds to seller. If they came and picked it up, we could take that off, okay? Now, conveyance fee. Seller pays conveyance fee, and what that is a 4% mill tax based off of the sale price, okay? A mill tax basically goes for like schools, agriculture, anything within that little, it's a tax for like the city that you live in. It's BS, and 87 out of 88 counties in Ohio have it, but it is what it is. Parcel transfer fee, again, that is just like admin stuff at recorder site, okay? Mortgage payoff, if like someone's adamant and it says, I can't subtract 100 from the proceeds, like whatever, 100,000, that's where you would add that or whatever they owed. And then here is where your commission is. Right here, that listing broker commission, that is the total amount that the seller is paying. Not necessarily the total amount that you are getting paid. And if you have one of those sellers that like nickel and dime you, then you can split it up like maybe a 3-2, and then they'll see how much you're getting paid, how much the selling agent's getting paid. Broker commission, that is your admin fee. So that's where you'd always put that. And then here's the county taxes, okay? So now the county taxes credit from seller, that $1,096.02, that is the proration from January to June 17th, the close date on this one. That's that prorated amount for 2022. And then the collection is the 1201.33. That's for the second half of last year. So sellers always say, what the heck? Why am I crediting them that? Well, you can say, Mr. Seller, you will have bills for taxes that are due for the time that you owned that house. And then you're going to say, Mr. Seller, you're not going to be there to pay those. The buyer is going to be living in that house to pay the taxes for when you owned it. So that's why you're crediting that amount to the buyer. Does that make sense?
Well, we always explain it, but they hate it. They never understand it. And that's when I say, call the title company.
Yes, which leads me to dun-da-da. I made this little example, and I think it saved people like so many headaches, okay?
No, they just do not understand that. You can explain it in 14 different languages and they still don't understand it, nor agree with it. But it is what it is, Yeah.
As long as you understand it, and sometimes, you can like change it up. Like here's this example. I can send it to you guys. If you want me to go over it, I will, or we can just do another example. I'll ask after this comment. There are different ways of explaining taxes. Some people like it super simple, and they might think like, if you say you're giving people money to pay on your behalf for the next year, for the time that you lived in the house, okay, great. Sometimes people like a restaurant reference. I know it sounds crazy, but you order in 2021, you pay in 2022. Or you order in 2022, but you're not going to be there to pay it in 2023, so you give somebody the money to pay for it. There are always ways of like explaining it to like dumb it down or just get to the level of your client. All right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So guys, let's go through another example. Or any other questions on this first one?
Can you go back to the top, the closing fee? So the closing fee for 450 at the very top, that is in fact the escrow fee. Is that correct? It just says closing fee?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that
Yep.
is split equally between the buyer and the seller. So the buyer also pays 450. Am I right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Spot on. Yep.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So they need to figure out, what their mortgage is payoff wise for whatever day they're looking at it. And then they would subtract that from this, and that's really their net, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So like sometimes you have people that buy it cash and they net everything. Then you have a mortgage, and let's say, they're like, Alicia, I really want you to do the math for me. So what you would do, you'd edit it, you go back to edit and just click that bad boy. Then you go down to mortgage payoff. And then let's just say they owed 100,000, okay? So here's the talk track to your seller. Mr. Seller, today, May 19th, you would net 70,000, blah, 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 $70,727.50. When this closes June 17th or whatever it is, your net is going to look different because you would have paid your June mortgage. So they probably make another $1,000 or how much their mortgage is. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yep, for sure. Do you guys want to go through another example?
Well, I think that I'm just gonna jump in real quick. I don't know that I've never been to this site. I don't know if do I have to create an account? Because I've never been here, Janelle.
I will.
Because I always email you guys and say, can you do me a quick net sheet?
I know. Are you Sandy Braun at Ymail?
No, it's sbraunkw@gmail.com. sbraunkw@gmail.
I thought it was so good for 1 second there, Sandy. Really did.
I need one too, Janelle.
Alrighty, I will do that.
Hey, Marilyn, how are you?
Me too, please.
All right, let's just go through. You know what? I'll sign everybody else. I'll sign everybody up after this, okay? So
Okay.
see an email from Title Capture. If it's not on your inbox, go to your spam. Marilyn, Alicia, Tyrone, who else is on here? Rondell. Hey, Rondell. I'll add you guys all, okay? But we'll do that later. You guys want to do one more example from like Cuyahoga?
Yes.
Yes,
All right,
Cuyahoga County.
Yep, and let's make this one harder. Alicia, that was perfect for our first one. Perfect. Okay. Now,
So why we got to do Cuyahoga County? What about Portage?
listen, Tyrone,
just
I don't have
joking.
time
Hey,
for
Tyrone.
everything. Just kidding.
Pipe down over there. Aren't you working at Verizon today, buddy?
Tyrone, we could do Portage if we have time, for sure. Okay.
I was just picking. That's all.
Oh, you're right.
I know.
All right. Anybody
He's a
want to give me an
jokester.
address?
Yes. Can I give you an address?
Yep.
I am looking it up right now as we speak. It's a list of,
So now we know why Sandy spoke up.
oh, yeah. I'm not quick enough. Do you have an address, somebody else? While I'm looking at mine, I'm just.
I got one for Portage.
Well, and here's the thing. I want to make this a difficult. So Sandy, it won't even be a true reading because I want to make this difficult in case they have.
Yeah, I do. I want a true rating. So here's the address. It's 3649 Ludgate Road,
Ooh.
Shaker Heights.
Ludgate. Okay. What is your people? What's the sale price, Sandy?
Let's say it's going to be 125. I don't know, 125.
All right. Now, can I make this a July close date?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. I'm going to do, and then the reason I'm going to do that so we can talk taxes. Okay. And note, I will do the end of July, and when we get there, I'll explain. Did you want to do a mortgage payoff, or do you want to just let it go?
I do believe there's no mortgage on the house, but would you like to pretend there was?
No, that's okay, because I usually don't add it.
All right, they don't owe anything in the house.
Okay. Can we do a graduated commission just to show you guys how to do it?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, now, so you see, guys, if you have a graduated commission, it automatically populates under the flat amount. So you just drop it down and pick graduated. Now, if you want to do a 6-4, that seems to be like the most typical or normal one. Again, I would only do 6.4 in the listing broker commission unless you want me to do a 3.2, a 3.2. All right. So drop down to a graduated, 6% on the first 100, 4% on the balance. You know, if you guys ever get crazy and want to do like a 3.2.1, you actually have to calculate that, or just set it and I'll calculate it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say there's no homeowners association. All right. So now we are gonna go to Cuyahoga County. 3649 Bloodgate. 3649 Bloodgate. And if you guys don't see it automatically, sometimes this website like defaults to owner, like up here. I don't know if you can see up here, like parcel address. So you're not losing your mind. You just need to click on address. All right. So Cuyahoga County, you're going to go to tax summary by year on the side. And we're going to scroll down. Now you'll see Shaker Heights taxes are out of control.
Totally. Yeah.
Yep. So here's what's kind of cool, guys. If you look at the top and we're just looking at half year charge amounts, this particular one, this is a really good one, Sandy. The gross tax is over $4,000. But this seller has a 920 reduction.
Which is the homestead?
Not a homestead.
What is that?
20 reduction is. I don't know. I honestly just have to look it up. I really don't know.
Okay. All right.
So, and then there's a non-business credit. So, and there's assessments, which are like tree maintenance, you know, all that kind of stuff. Shaker has a bunch of that kind of stuff.
Yes, yes.
So their half year taxes are $1,997.19. Just keep that in your mind, because what you're going to do, you're going to look down here, you're going to be like, oh, they had $6,400 in charges. Oh, and they made $4,400 in payments. That means they were behind on their taxes. So the key number when doing these is the half year net. Now, look here where it says charges $6457.23, payments $4,464, balance due $1997.19. They are up to date on their taxes as of today. Now, sometimes you will see a balance due of $4,460. That's where people get confused, and we will review that. So let's just say right now, 1997.19, okay? So 1997.19, yeah. Okay, 1997.19. Those are two halves of the year for taxes. The first half was already paid, so January to June of 2021 was already paid. Now, since we have a 7/22 close date, you're going to have to assume, now, like in Sandy's instance, her sellers own the property. So you need to remind your cash buyers or your sellers that own the property, they have to pay the county on their own. It's not coming out of a mortgage. So Sandy's going to ask at the listing appointment is, did you pay your second half taxes yet? Okay, because they're due July 1st. So let's say they did. All taxes for 2021 are paid. So you're going to go to this drop-down box, and you're going to go taxes haven't paid for the entire year. Any questions?
So let's talk this through some more then. So since they've paid the taxes through the year, they're not caught up in the arrears, or they're still going to have to credit the buyer of the last half of last year. Am I right?
You're so close. You're so close. So if I'm saying taxes have been paid for the entire year, that was the entire 2021. So
okay,
they're going to credit the buyers from January to July 22nd of 2022.
Ah, okay.
Yep. Because they still own that property. Remember, they still purchased their meal. They haven't paid. Okay. So now seller expenses here. So let me rewind really quick. Let's say they had delinquent taxes, guys. Let's say, I'm going back to the Cuyahoga County. Let's say this balance due was $3,000. Is everyone following me so far?
Yep.
Okay. Let's say this was $3,000. So would you put $3,000 in the second half? No. You'd still put the 1997-19. However, down here, expense would be delinquent taxes, and like 1,000. Okay? So if there's ever delinquent taxes or assessments, it goes under expenses, not taxes. Because what this system will do, it will prorate off of the delinquent amount. Did I lose anybody there?
Yeah, I mean, that's why you guys do what you do and we do what we do.
Right, exactly.
I don't like to do these because I'm not crystal clear on everything. I feel like I have a general knowledge. I
Yeah.
can probably do a quick one, but doing all that, what you just did, I don't feel confident enough to do it myself. If there are delinquent taxes, I would just fill out the taxes as if I knew them, and then I would send them a net sheet and say to them, hey, it looks like you might be delinquent, so this net sheet may not be accurate. Talk to the title company, you know?
Perfect. And Sandy, that's how I want you guys to typically do it anyway.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing it for you, it's going to be right on there. So I want you to be able to explain it, be able to explain.
Right.
So let's say, I'm going to calculate this, okay? And I see your hand up. Give me 1 sec, okay? And then I'll get right to you. So, all right. So let's say that in this situation, let's look at the county tax part of it, okay? The county taxes are showing right here that the second half of last year was not paid, which was like that 1997. And also they're prorating January through July of 2022. So that's where that like $2,200 comes in. So it's second half of last year plus 2022 what they owed. So that's taxes. Now, if you look under and it says the delinquent taxes, so this is your talk track with your seller. Okay, Mr. Seller, county taxes, it looks like the second half of last year was still unpaid. And then you owe for the year that you lived here, so you're crediting X amount, that 2204. However,
Well, they're going to be crediting the buyer that amount of money. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is just regular taxes from last half through the year. So, but Mr. Seller, I also noticed that you had delinquent taxes for 2021, and that's where that $1,000 of delinquent taxes comes in.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yeah. Hey, Janelle, is there any way, going back to the top, going back to the county,
Yeah.
I'm real curious what that credit is, or, you know, that HB, it wasn't a homestead, but I'm curious. Oh, the less
The 920 reduction?
Because I feel like I get questions about that and I don't know what that's for, you know? Like, why
Look,
are they
it
getting
happens to deal with House Bill 920.
Yeah, I know. I'm Googling it. If you can see.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It says, this is what it says. The new law authorized HB 920 credits that reduce millage rates to keep increased property valuations from producing windfall revenues for taxing districts. And what that means, we'd have to ask an accountant. Because I don't know, but all I know, it sounds like it's a reduction so that because valuations on houses are increasing, so it's a reduction that it's not going to kill your taxes, basically. That's
Makes sense. Yeah, thank God they have that. Right. Okay.
Google
Yeah,
everything.
Google it.
Yeah. Hey, Alicia, what question did you have?
It's from the county auditor site as well. So
Okay.
if they were delinquent on taxes, where would it show on here?
Right here.
Balance due?
Yeah. Okay. So let's. It's so hard unless I see one. Okay. So let's say that they didn't make this big chunk payment of $4,400. Okay. Let's say that there's still charges of $65,5723. Okay. Let's just say, and I know it's really hard because you're not going to see that, but that $64,57 would be by the balance due. Okay.
So just the fact that there's a balance due, does this mean, are they behind on their taxes then, these people?
No. These people are actually, okay, you guys,
Current.
they are current right now, because if you look over here to tax summary by year over, to the left a little bit, go down to half, it all the way down. The last thing is half your net taxes, $1,997.19. Okay, you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
So half year means, two halves. The first half, it looks like they made it up in the payments. Typically, it would say like 3,800 because like the tax is around 3,800. Don't even look at the charges. Let's say, here, let me do the math real quick.
I feel like I've seen this before. If they are delinquent, it's kind of written in red, delinquent taxes. Doesn't it say that, you guys, usually, if they're delinquent?
Yes, but not on this, not this county, but like Lake County, yes. Like
Some do have that, okay.
Summit, yeah, some of them do, not this one. Okay, so if you take your, I wish you guys could see my hands. I don't know why, but if you guys just look, half your taxes charged twice, it would be $3,994.38. That's how much this property taxes annually is close to $4,000. $3,994.38. Okay, does that all make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay, two halves, 1997.19. Now, in a perfect world, if they paid their taxes on time, tax summary, instead of that 64, it would be 39.94.38. The payment would be 1997.19, and the balance due would be 1997.19 because that's for the second half of last year, which is due in July.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay. All right. So that's in a perfect world. Now let's talk about this example. They had $6,400 worth of taxes and assessments. They just weren't up to date on. Well, it looks like in January they got current and they paid $4,460.04, leaving the current balance, which is the correct balance, the second half of last year, at $1,997.19. So they are good. All right? Good.
Yeah.
What happens if charges $64.57.23, zero payments, have a balance of $64.57.23, right?
And they're behind.
Then they're behind. Okay. So in that, I'm going to write this down. So in this example, 64.57.23. So I'll show you what it would look like on a net sheet. Just so you, I'm not expecting you guys to do this and or know this, but you'll see it and at least hopefully remember. Okay. Let's say that they did 1997, whatever, two halves, and no taxes were paid yet. None. All right. This is the same example that we are looking at here, as if no taxes were paid and we still had that 64.57.23 due. So here's what you would do. You would take that, 1997, well, geez Louise. Oh my gosh, you guys, so hard to do when people are watching. You take that 1997.19, multiply by 2, so that's a full year. And that's where you're going to get the 39.94.38. So to find out the delinquent, you're going to take that 57.23, that charge, let's just say if nothing was paid, and then you're going to subtract that from 39.94.38. That's where you're going to find your delinquent taxes, which would be 24.62.85. Did I lose you guys?
Yeah. Nobody's talking. I'll talk. No, I mean, it makes sense, but it just takes practice to get to know this, but I want to make a comment here because, like Shaker, for instance, and all of us know when you sit down with a seller, Marilyn, you understand what I'm talking about. When it comes to closing costs, these sellers look at their closing costs and their taxes that are due and, the credit they're, if they're in a high tax city, they lump that in like, oh my God, it's going to cost me this much to sell my house.
Yeah.
Well, when you break it all down and take the taxes out and all the other bullshit, I mean, that's their responsibility. I don't care if you sell it with a broker or on your own, dude, you're still paying that, and if you break it down that way, explain it to them. But, people are shocked when they see what it costs to sell their home.
I know.
Right?
They have no, yeah.
Yeah.
I will go. Do we have like 5 more minutes to go through this tax preparation example? Gara, is that okay? Or everybody? You got like 5 minutes?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
So I put this together because of the questions, and I think it helps. And something that you can actually, like, if you talk through it, if you literally just go down the timeline and you can sit with your seller and explain this, then you're good and they get it. Okay. So what this is going to show you, January 21, it's going to show you what was due. So January, if let's say in January 2021, sorry, I did this last year. The January through June 2020 taxes are due. Okay, so we all know the year before, half year. It's January to January, no matter what year. Okay, January 22 will be due January 21. Next, in July of 2021, July through December of 2020 was due. All right, cool, great. Now we're coming into 2022. January, again, January through June of 2021, the tax was due. But let's say, guys, that you sold a house in January 15th of 2022. We following me so far?
Yep.
You sold a house January 15th this year. Okay? So you're going to transfer the house to the new owner. The seller is going to credit the buyer at closing taxes from January to December of 2021 plus from January 1st to January 15th of 2022.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then if they have a mortgage, 2 to 3 weeks later, they'll get their money back for escrow reserves, like, for principal and all that other jazz. Because people always ask about that.
Yes. Yes, they do.
They do. All right, and then it'll show July that, the second half of 2021 was due. But here's another example, and then we'll do this and then we'll be done. So this again shows when taxes are due and arrears. But let's say now it was sold in April of 2022. House transfers, seller credits the buyer at closing from July to December of 2021 plus January through April 22nd of 2022. Can anybody answer why?
Because let's see, if they closed in April, they owe then from June to January, is that what you said? 2021, right?
June through December of
June through December, and they also owe January to April.
Yes, awesome. Because
Yeah.
the first half of 2021 was already paid in January of 2022.
Yes, got it. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good job, guys. It's always January and July and then December are always really weird for taxes.
Yeah.
So let's say, guys, since we're in this situation right now, today is May 19th, but we're going to have like a 45-day close, and we're closing July 5th. What taxes would the seller be crediting if we are selling a home July 5th of 2022?
The whole year of 2021. Right?
I think it's the first half of 2022, January 1st through July 5th. So all the days the seller lived there.
Yeah.
That's it. Alicia got it, because the second half of 2021 was due
Yeah.
June 30th, July 1st. Okay?
Right.
So just think, guys, when you're listing a home and it sells from typically like the first week, since it's a holiday week, I would say like, late first week of July, those taxes should already be paid.
Yeah, right.
But here's the tricky part. If you have a seller that owns their home and they don't pay their second half yet, we will pay at closing. If they,
And that's a question we get all the time. If I do have a closing in end of June or July, they always ask me, should I pay my taxes? And what do you suggest we tell them, Janelle?
as a title rep, I always say pay your taxes.
Okay. Okay.
I say that. However, if they don't, then we'll pay at closing. It's not like they're going to be penalized from like a day or two. But here's what's really, really important, and we always get this, and it's like so frustrating. You have your very due diligent sellers who will pay the second half of their taxes and forget to tell the real estate agent. And then we pay them at closing because it hasn't populated on the auditor site yet. And then the county has to reimburse the seller.
Yeah, I've had that happen and they get so upset because it does take a while to prove because they paid them and then the title company says, no, it doesn't show that you paid them yet. And they're like, how long does it take? A month?
So, well, you know, it's your government worker skeleton and it's USPS, you know, it's US Postal Mail. So
Yep.
I would just, if your seller owns the home and you're getting close to taxes being due, just make it very clear that they have to be very clear with you if they paid it. But it doesn't matter if they paid it if the title company doesn't see it day of closing. Like on the auditor site, we're still going to pay that at closing. But if it's coming out of a mortgage, then it's easier because then we get the payoff and that's it. It's just the cash. The people that own their homes, that's the tricky ones.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other questions? I know we ran over.
Hey, I have a real quick question about the $200 holdback. I always get an issue with this. So if you're going to, you know, and we always write that in, that's what we do. However, if they can prove that they have paid that, did they just email you the proof of payment and then we can remove that from the statement?
Well, we can't remove it for the statement because their final water and sewer bill don't come until like the month after they close. So close date was today. I wouldn't get my final water sewer bill until June.
Okay.
So we hold that $200 and they can do one of two things. They can either send us a copy of the final bill, we'll pay on their behalf, or they send us proof of payment and then we send the money back to them.
Okay, great.
Yep. All right, you guys. If you have any questions, just call me. I mean, I know it's a lot, but these questions have been awesome. And, you know, if you do one and you want me to review it, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, so you're going to add me onto this site?
I already did for you, Sandy, and I'm just literally writing names down. So I have Alicia, Marilyn, Tyrone, and Rondell.
Great, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
guys. Call if you need me, okay?
All right, thanks so much. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.